Hey guys, the name is Kris Barocsi, welcome to Gear Corner. Today we're checking out Walrus Audio's brand new 5-state distortion, the ERAS. It looks beautiful as usual and it looks mean, and actually it sounds mean too. This is a proper beast mode distortion. I'll play the pedal with PAF humbuckers with medium outputs, sort of hot rodded PAFs, Fishman Fluence pickups, and obviously with my Tele too, to give you a good idea of what to expect from the ERAS. Later on in the video, I'll also give you my opinion on it. And since the release is just in a few days, I better get on with this. Let's go. Before we move on, a short reminder, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell if you enjoy what I'm doing here. Also, don't forget to check out the description box under the video, on the side, whatever YouTube does with it, it's somewhere around the video. You'll find additional infos, timestamps, gear links, all kinds of fun stuff. Walrus Audio brought out the Ages 5-state overdrive a while ago, which was the first Walrus drive pedal that had this kind of layout, which means that it had a dry knob to blend in your clean signal and a bass, treble, EQ knobs, and of course the mode, which had 5 different clipping modes. This is very similar to the ERAS, which is now the same kind of pedal, but way meaner. It has way more distortion, way less mids, and it's just the opposite of like a pleasant sounding neutral drive. Alright, let's check out the knobs. You have the two obvious ones, volume and gain. And right between them, you'll have the blend knob, which is cool as told. If you max it out, you only have your distorted tone, and if you go back to its minimum, you only have your bypass signal. In the lower row, you have 2 EQ knobs, the bass and the treble, which is of course very nice and very useful because it makes a distortion very versatile. And right between them, it's the secret sauce switch, the mode switch, which gives you 5 different clipping modes. Let's check them out. The first one is a tight mode with a slight mid-cut. It's an LED hard clipping mode. The second one is also called a tight mode, and it has a slight mid-cut and a silicon hard clipping. The third mode is a dual clipping mode, which gives you a silicon and LED hard clipping, and it still gives you a slight mid-cut. The fourth mode is, well, a Dimebag Darrell rhythm tone mode, which gives you an LED hard clipping and a serious amount of scoop in the mids. And the fifth mode is similar, it's still very much scooped, but it's a silicon clipping. Why would you need a blend knob on such a high gain, mean sounding distortion pedal? Well, if you're a traditional player and you just want to have an amp-like thick and rich distortion, you'll probably have this knob maxed out all the time, because that's where you don't have a blend at all. It's just the distorted tone, which is nice, and that's probably the most standard way of using it. But if you want to mix it, let's say you're running a parallel signal chain and you have this pedal in one of the sides of the parallel chain, you might not always want to have only distorted tone. You might want to mix in some clean tones and put a drive pedal before or behind it, or a fuzz pedal in front of it, or whichever, a modulation pedal. You can get really wild with a distortion that also gives you the option of mixing in your clean signal. And of course, let's not forget about bass players, because if you're a bass player, you will lose quite some clear low end and picking definition if you only have the distorted tone. So most bass distortion and overdrive pedals will have a clean blend. So this knob makes this very much usable for bass players too. So let's check that out. Now, I'm obviously not an actual bass player. I'm a guitar player who loves basses and loves playing bass, so I don't even have like a proper bass rig, but what I'm doing here is going with the bass into my Rev Dynamis clean channel, which acts like a traditional tube bass amp in this situation, like an old Marshall or the really old Ampex would. And then from the speaker output of the rev head, I'm going into the Captor X, the 2 notes Captor X, where I have a very nice bass cab and mic simulation going on, and that gets recorded by my audio interface, the Audient ID44. My opinion on the pedal. I really like the drive sounds. It's big and it almost sounds like it's already produced, if you know what I mean. It does change the top end, like the treble doesn't sit as high as like I don't know, some transparent drives treble knob would sit, or like the treble knob on an Archer. If you know that pedal, you know what I mean. It does change your EQ, but not in a bad way at all, in an amp kind of way. Like if you're using a modern sort of high gain amp and go on its distorted channel, you will get a radically different tone, obviously, than if you stick to its more traditional channel or clean channel. This will make your guitar tone sound like you swapped to an amp's distorted channel, which is totally fine because most high gain players would want to have that kind of tone anyhow. They want to have an amp-like big, mean tone and not a pedal-like pedal tone. Does that make sense? Is there anything to criticize on the pedal? Not a lot. Again, Walrus is pretty damn good at making pedals, to be honest. The gain knob is the first thing if I have to be really picky. If you want to keep this thing super tight, you should not go way over 12 o'clock. Above 12 o'clock, it starts to become just a bit muddy. Like it's so much gain that it cannot stay super tight when you palm mute anymore. So I would say if you want to have like a really tight modern metal tone, stick to around 12 o'clock, maybe even a little less, like 11 o'clock, and put like mid pushed or mid humpy overdrive in front of the ERAS. That will give you tons of gain and all the clarity and tightness. If you go above 12 o'clock, like 2, 3 o'clock or even higher, you'll get an insane amount of sustain and distortion, which is great for lead playing. So that's great. And it's definitely a very usable part of like segment of the knob, but it's not the tight kind of rhythm playing setting. I would stick to sort of 12 o'clock for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out the ERAS. I think it's a really, really nice high gain pedal. I'll put a link in the description box if you want to check it out for yourself. And of course, we'll meet each other in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this pedal and what is your favorite high gain pedal. You guys take it easy. We'll see each other next week in a new video and we'll meet down there in the comment section. I'll be back. Bye-bye.